Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to address this August Assembly. I am Shamik Biswas, Senior Vice President and Head of Marketing at Plintron. My company is a digital communications technology company, which enables brands to acquire and engage with customers. We have launched more than 143 MVNOs in all 6 continents. The topic of today's lecture is IoT propositions for VNOs/MVNOs and how it is win-win for MNOs. A question which many of you may ask, what are VNOs or MVNOs? VNOs are virtual network operators, and they do not have their own network, but use the network of a licensed mobile network operator. There are a large number of MVNOs, especially in the US, Europe, and Latin America. Some popular MVNOs include Virgin Mobile, Redwood Mobile, and so on. Why are MVNOs useful or VNOs useful? They actually help MNOs monetize niche segments and provide more choice to the customer. For example, church groups may launch their own MVNOs, or any religious group for that matter may launch their own branded mobile services. I mentioned church groups because we have enabled church groups in Brazil launch their own mobile services. They can give their own religious music and engage their community members. We've helped football clubs in Brazil again launch their own mobile services, branded mobile services. Similarly, we've helped supermarkets launch their own mobile services, catering to their own set of customers. So these are various specific segments which can be monetized. And the MVNO basically acts as a wholesale partner for the mobile network operator, saving his cost of acquisition. Plus, MVNOs, which are dedicated to niche segments, can actually concentrate on that segment and give it far greater attention than a large mobile network operator would. IoT is one such segment where VNO can actually help mobile network operators. And that is the subject of my talk. Now, let me go ahead and give a slightly larger introduction on the status of MVNOs or VNOs in India. There was latent demand for MVNO licenses from the first decade of this century itself, as even before an MVNO policy was announced, international MVNO major Virgin Mobile, which focused on the youth segment, had launched its brand in India under a franchisee agreement with Tata Teleservices in 2008. Future Group followed soon with a similar franchising agreement with the Tata Teleservices, replicating the supermarket MVNO concept, which I just talked about, with the launch of T24 in 2010. However, these were quasi-MVNOs and could not succeed as there was no MVNO regulation at that point of time in India, and the scenario was not very clear. TRAI issued its first MVNO policy regulations in 2008, followed by fresh recommendations in 2015. Thereafter, the Department of Telecommunications announced its virtual network operator license policy in May 2016. Since then, DOT has issued more than 125 VNO licenses, and this is dated data till March 2021. However, very few unified service access, that is mobile MVNOs or MVNO licenses, have been issued. However, due to some of the VNO licensing conditions, coupled by lack of interest of the mobile network operators, the VNO sector has not really been able to take off in terms of operations. And there are very few VNOs who are actually operational. However, IoT is one area where there can be a win-win relationship between MNOs and MVNOs, especially with the emergence of 5G. Now, why is the IoT sector particularly lucrative for VNOs? One is the emergence of 5G and eSIM technology, which will catalyze a huge growth in the IoT sector and spur new use cases in a number of segments. Why is 5G a boon for IoT? Demand for IoT connected devices is bound to grow up exponentially with the emergence of 5G. There are three 5G use cases which are very useful. One is enhanced mobile broadband or EMBB, which increases the broadband speed. Second is ultra low latency, URLLC rather, which is extremely useful for IoT, especially in critical use cases like robotics, surgery, or precision mining, where a very low latency is required. The third is massive machine type communications or MMTC, which allows a large number of interconnected devices to coexist. Hence, 5G is a game changer. The IoT opportunity is extremely lucrative for VNOs. The IoT M2M opportunity for VNOs is currently valued at USD 4.29 billion and is expected to grow to USD 6.41 billion over the next 5 years at a CAGR of 8.9%. Europe is the largest market with the current size expected at 1.98 billion. North America is the next largest market with the current IoT M2M opportunity valued at 1.67 billion. APAC is the current opportunity is valued at USD 0.4 billion. However, APAC has the largest growth rate and is expected to grow at a rate of 10.3% CAGR over the next 5 years. Hence, it is the most happening market. Now, let me speak about the role of IoT and VNOs. VNOs have an added advantage over most IoT solution providers that apart from aiding solutions, they also provide the connectivity solution. VNOs also support eSIM and remote SIM provisioning in many cases. Now, many IoT use cases like telemetry, telematics, that is vehicle tracking, and certain other such use cases are high volume, low ARPU, LPWA or low power wide area connections, which normally do not appeal to MNOs. Most MNOs are interested in high ARPU connections because they want to improve their ARPU. However, VNOs who are focused on telemetry or on such specific segments which are high volume yet a low ARPU, with having a customized business model, can still have a viable business proposition. Hence, this is a very win-win partnership where the VNOs help aggregate these low ARPU, high volume connections and present it on a wholesale basis as a large account to the MNOs. So this is a clear case where a VNO is helping a MNO because the MNO would not have ordinarily even catered to these markets. And, as we know, smart metering, telematics, etc., very vital applications. Hence, the VNO help cater to these vital segments through a specific business model, even though they are low ARPU, by aggregating and with the specified business model, they still make a viable business proposition. And this aggregation helps the MNOs because these MVNOs aggregate all these customers, low ARPU customers, and add immensely to the wholesale revenue of MNOs. Hence, this is a very important example of how MVNOs or VNOs aid MNOs. Now let me cover IoT verticals where IoT/M2M MVNOs add value. In the interest of time, I cannot go into detail. I have already covered telemetry, where by enabling smart metering, IoT MVNOs as well as IoT applications save a lot of manual labor. Then we have telematics, logistics, wearables, smart agriculture and dairy, where my company specifically has enabled a lot of IoT MVNOs in countries like Brazil for dairy farming, livestock management, farm surveillance. You can see the details on the website of my company. Then smart city applications, smart home, fintech, healthcare, and industrial IoT. So there is a plethora of applications where IoT M2M adds value. Now to conclude, IoT has been transforming the telecom industry, especially with the emergence of 5G and technologies like eMBB, MMTC, and URLL will see much further growth. MNOs have been traditionally hesitant to float VNOs in India. However, in this kind of segment, which is low ARPU and high volume LPVA, which are not very attractive for MNOs who traditionally covet high ARPU subscribers. Here in this segment, they may like to work with VNOs who will be aggregating low ARPU connections and add to the wholesale revenues, especially in segments like telemetry, etc. IoT VNOs are also well supported by MVNAs, which aggregate multiple VNOs and make the proposition even more attractive for the MNO. MVNAs also have other advantages by providing wholesale airtime and data contracts to the VNOs. They support eSIM and remote SIM provisioning. They also provide IoT connectivity management suite for easy administration of SIMs, as well as go-to-market consulting to individual VNOs. Overall, MNOs, MVNAs, and VNOs form a cooperative ecosystem and acts as to the mutual benefit of each other. With 5G SA deployments enabling network slicing in the future, which will enable multiple use cases, we will also see a new breed of VNOs target specific use cases with solutions bundling connectivity needs with emerging technologies like cloud, AI, and big data. Like applications like telemetry need lower bandwidth. However, applications like OTT, video streaming need higher bandwidth, lower latency, or MPOS applications need lower latency. Network slicing will enable multiple use cases support by the MNO. This is the conclusion of my presentation. If you have any questions, please do mail me at my email ID. Thank you.